Hello everyone. In this video we'll explain the concept of lubrication and bearing. It comes under module 5 according to VTU syllabus. There comes two parts in this chapter. First part is about lubrication and in second part we'll discuss about bearings. So first let me tell you what is lubrication. Friction. It is the resistance to relative motion between two surfaces in contact. In certain application friction is an added advantage, but in most of the mechanical equipments we have to remove friction in order to improve mechanical efficiency and also to prevent wear and tear of rubbing surfaces. In order to reduce amount of friction between two rubbing surfaces, we have to introduce a substance called lubricant. So lubricant is the substance which will reduce the friction between two rubbing surfaces. The substance which is placed between two rubbing surfaces in order to reduce friction is called lubricant. There are three types of lubricants. First one, liquid lubricant, second one, semi-liquid lubricant, and last one, solid lubricant. Liquid lubricants are preferred when they have to be retained. In certain applications we can't introduce lubricants frequently. We have to retain same lubricant for a long amount of time. Under such cases we'll use liquid lubricant. For example, in certain automobiles also we cannot introduce lubricants each and every day. Same lubricant we have to retain for certain amount of time or certain few days. So we are using liquid lubricants in automobiles. Few examples are mineral oils, vegetable oils, animal oils, etc. Second type is semi-liquid lubricant. These are having higher viscosity than oils. Whenever lubricant has to withstand a large amount of load, we'll prefer semi-liquid lubricant. And these are used where slow and heavy pressure exist. Example for semi-liquid lubricant is grease as shown in figure. Last type is solid lubricant. Few of the examples are graphite, wax, mica, etc. These are preferred where oil films cannot be maintained because of high pressure and temperature. If operating pressure and temperature is very high, and if you are using liquid lubricant, this liquid lubricant will vaporize at high pressure and temperature. Therefore, under such situation, we'll go for solid lubricant. Different properties of lubricants are: first property, viscosity. Viscosity can be defined as it is the resistance to flow. It is the measure of degree of fluidity of a liquid. For more heat and pressure, higher viscosity is needed. That means if operating pressure and if operating temperature is more, then we have to choose a lubricant whose viscosity is more. And also load carrying capacity is proportional to viscosity. Second property is oiliness. It is the ability of an oil to maintain an unbroken lubricant film between the rubbing surfaces. Or in simple words, oiliness can be defined as it is the ability of an oil or it's the ability of a lubricant to maintain wettability of the surface. If the surface remains wet for a long amount of time because of the lubricant, then we can tell that that particular lubricant got a good oiliness property. Third property is flash point. Flash point should be above operating temperature for a good lubricant. It is the lowest temperature at which an oil gives off sufficient vapor to give a momentary flash on introduction of a flame. If the flash point is less, then if during operating temperature the lubricant may catch fire. So in order to prevent catch of fire, flash point should be high for good lubricant. Similarly, fire point also should be high for a good lubricant. Next property is pour point. It is the lowest temperature at which an oil ceases or stops to flow when cooled. The pour point of a good lubricant should be low. And the last property is cloud point. It is the temperature at which an oil becomes cloudy in appearance when cooled. This cloud point should be high for a good lubricant. If cloud point is low, then at operating temperature itself the lubricant will become cloudy in appearance. So to prevent this, cloud point of a good lubricant should be very high. So next part is about bearings. A bearing is a machine member which supports, guides and restrain moving elements. All machineries are provided with supports for rotating shaft. The supporting device is called bearing. So here in this diagram you can see a bearing, and in second diagram certain portion of the shaft is supported by bearing. So this portion of shaft which is supported by bearing is called journal. So in this diagram this outer portion is bearing and this inner circular portion is shaft, which is also known as journal. Next, types of lubrications. There are three types of lubrications. First one, hydrostatic lubrication, second one, hydrodynamic lubrication, and last one, elasto-hydrodynamic lubrication. So moving on to first type, hydrostatic lubrication. So this figure shows hydrostatic lubrication. In hydrostatic lubrication, fluid film pressure is obtained by supplying the lubricant at high pressure through a set of holes in the bearing shell. So this is the bearing. This outer portion is bearing. Inner circular portion is journal. So when the journal is at rest, if the shaft is not rotating, at lower portion this journal will be in contact with the bearing. During operation we have to provide oil at high pressure through a set of holes. We are supplying this oil at very high pressure. Because of this high pressure, this journal will separate from bearing surface. As a result, it will start rotating. Throughout operation we have to continuously supply this oil, then only we can maintain continuous lubrication here. So remember, in hydrostatic lubrication throughout operation we have to provide oil from an external source. But in hydrodynamic lubrication, in this fluid film pressure is generated only by rotation of journal. So this concept is explained using this diagram. Initially when the shaft is at rest or when the journal is at rest, journal will be in contact with bearing at lower portion. When the journal starts rotating, because of the pressure difference between left side and right side portion of the journal, there will be separation of journal from bearing surfaces, and at very high RPM this journal will be completely separated from bearing surface, and this gap will be filled with the lubricating oil, and the minimum gap here is known as minimum oil film thickness. The major advantage of this hydrodynamic lubrication is, in hydrodynamic lubrication there is no need of external source to supply continuous lubricant. But the advantage of hydrostatic lubrication is it's easy to start and stop the process. So these two advantages can be combined so that a bearing can operate hydrostatically when starting and stopping and can act hydrodynamically during running. So that we have to provide external fluid or external lubricant only during starting and stopping, and during throughout running we need not provide external supply of fluid so that it can run hydrodynamically. And the last type is elasto-hydrodynamic lubrication. In elasto-hydrodynamic lubrication, the wear of these two rubbing surfaces and also change in viscosity of the lubricant during operation need to be considered. So during operation, bearing and journal surfaces will be rubbing each other. Because of that, there will be deformation of the part. This deformation we have to consider, and also because of operating temperature or because of higher temperature, viscosity of lubricant is going to change. We have to consider this change in viscosity also in elasto-hydrodynamic lubrication. Next very important concept is hydrodynamic theory of lubrication. This hydrodynamic lubrication can again be classified into two types. One is perfect lubrication or thick film lubrication, and second one is boundary lubrication or thin film lubrication. Perfect lubrication or thick film lubrication, in this there will be a complete film of lubricant between the surfaces of shaft and bearing. That means journal surface and bearing surface will be completely separated with the help of lubricant. But in case of boundary lubrication or thin film lubrication, there will be a metal to metal contact uh, at certain places. So there will not be complete separation of journal from bearing. At certain places there will be metal to metal contact, and because of the metal to metal contact there will be abrasive action also between two rubbing surfaces. Because of that, additional wear and heat generation will occur. According to hydrodynamic theory of lubrication, when the journal is at rest, as shown in first diagram, journal will come in contact with the bearing at its lowest point, at this point, and it leaves a crescent shape above. So this shape is known as crescent shape. In figure 2, journal starts rotating in counterclockwise direction as shown in figure. When the journal starts rotating as shown in figure, it tends to move above slightly. So initially this was the journal position, and when it starts rotating it will tend to move slightly upwards, and the point of contact will shift from P to P1. Let me tell this point as P and this new point as P1. So point of contact will shift from P to P1. As the speed of shaft further increases, it carries oil with it. So as the speed of shaft increases, it carries oil from this space towards this space, and the fluid pressure in the oil increases. So when the speed further increases, the pressure will be developed. There will be sufficient amount of pressure so that there will be a complete separation of journal from bearing surface. Then there is no metal to metal contact, but the shaft is completely supported by bearing as shown in third diagram. The point of maximum fluid pressure and position of shaft is as shown in third figure. In this diagram, maximum fluid pressure and also position of shaft is shown. So you can see here there is complete separation of journal from bearing surface, and at the same place there will be maximum amount of fluid pressure. So because of this higher fluid pressure, journal will be completely separated from bearing surface, and there will be a perfect lubrication or thick film lubrication. This figure shows variation of friction with speed of rotation. According to this diagram, if speed of the shaft is less than a critical value, so this is the critical value. If speed is less than this critical value, depending on the load, lubrication and surface finish, complete separation of surfaces by a film is not possible, and some of the load is carried by the roughness on the surface. This condition is called boundary lubrication. That means I told you initially the journal will be in contact with the bearing. So if speed is less, speed of journal is less, there will not be a perfect lubrication. Journal will be still in contact with bearing at certain places, and that condition is known as thin film lubrication or boundary lubrication. But as speed increases, there will be a complete separation of journal from bearing surface, and entire journal load will be carried by lubricating fluid. So this condition is known as thick film lubrication or perfect lubrication. So in the diagram, the right side portion after this transition speed, that indicates a thick film lubrication, and the point where boundary lubrication changes into thick film lubrication is known as transition point. Moving on to last theory concept in this chapter, bearing characteristic number and bearing modulus for journal bearing. The coefficient of friction in design of bearing is a great importance. Coefficient of friction, it depends on total three parameters. First one, zeta into rpm divided by p. This term is known as product of zeta. N dash divided by p is known as bearing characteristic number. And second parameter on which coefficient of friction depends is diameter to clearance ratio, which is given by d by c. and last one is length to diameter ratio, L by T. Variation of coefficient of friction along with bearing characteristic number is shown in diagram. So here along y-axis I am considering coefficient of friction, and along x-axis will consider bearing characteristic number. Here first part of the curve SR, it represents a thin film lubrication. Second part R2Q represents transition state, and last part PQ represents a thick film lubrication. Between Q and R, the viscosity or speed, it is low or pressure is high. So since pressure is high, the coefficient of friction is low in this area, so that partial metal to metal contact will take in place. So here n value is less, and whenever n value is less, whenever speed is less, there will be a partial contact, or there will be metal to metal contact at certain places, and that phenomena is known as semi-fluid lubrication. So if the n value is very small, then there will be again metal to metal contact, and that phenomena is known as thin film lubrication. If n value, speed of journal, is very high, there will be a complete separation, and that phenomena is known as thick film lubrication. The part of the curve where thin film lubrication changes into thick film lubrication is known as transition range. While operating any journal bearing, it is preferable to operate journal bearing in thick film lubrication. So to maintain thick film lubrication, the value of this bearing characteristic, or zeta n dash divided by P, has to be very high. So minimum value of bearing characteristic at which thick film lubrication exists is value of bearing characteristic should be K. If the value of bearing characteristic is less than K, then thin film lubrication will exist. If value of bearing characteristic is more than K, then thick film lubrication will exist. But if bearing is operated near this value, near K, slight decrease in speed or increase in pressure will result in large increase in friction and also heat and wear. Therefore, to prevent such condition, one should operate bearing characteristic number at a value at least 3 times minimum value of K. So for running condition, better running condition, value of bearing characteristic should be minimum 3 times K. So that completes all the theory portions in this chapter. Thank you.